All right, guys. Well, hey, welcome to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Paul McLean here, and I'm actually doing this with a kind of a classroom setting. We got quite a few agents on Zoom with us today, and as we go through this, maybe at the end we'll open it up. And I'm actually recording this on Friday. It's a Good Friday. In fact, this is Good Friday where I'm recording it. And I kind of thought about this and related it to business. It's a Good Friday for us if you're, a person of faith because on Sunday what takes place, right? Jesus, he's raised from the grave, right? So we know, so we celebrate and we say this is Good Friday. Back then, it wasn't a Good Friday. It was a bad Friday because they didn't know yet what was to come. And so I think a lot of times in business, we have to kind of look at this business with the end in mind. If you knew you were already going to win, if you knew that you were going to have the victory, if you were going to go out there and you're going to serve 40, 50 families every single month, you were going to make, 500 grand a year, you're going to be able to go out there and live where you wanted to live, bless the people you wanted to bless, give the way you wanted to give, sow the way you wanted to sow. If you knew that, then how would you behave each and every day? Would it be a day where if it didn't go your way, you'd say, man, this day sucked, man. Man, this isn't working out, or these leads are this, or this is that. Or would you kind of be excited about the times when it didn't go your way because you knew that, hey, there's about to be a great comeback. There's about to be a big turnaround. I kind of think about, this football game from years ago. It was the Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Patriots. And, I'm watching this game. I don't really care either way. I don't like either team. But I'm watching this game and I'm at this cheer competition. My oldest daughter at the time was in cheer, and they had this big conference room that they allowed all the guys and people that wanted to watch the Super Bowl game at this event. They could go into the room and watch it. And I just watched how the Patriot fans, they looked so depressed at the halftime. They were just like, dude, the end of the world, especially the diehards. Like it's 23 to whatever it was, 24-3 or something like that. They're down like 21 points, the biggest deficit in Super Bowl history to come back from. And so you just saw the room. You felt it in the room. Everybody was just somber and sad and like depressed. And well, then all of a sudden, the second half starts and they start getting momentum. And all of a sudden, fast forward at the end of the game, the Patriots pull off history. It's never happened before, and they win the game. So not only are the Patriot fans excited because they won, but dude, they're also out of their mind excited because they just did something that's never been done. They came back from the greatest deficit. And so I think about that in the emotions that the Patriot fans went through in that game. Man, they had some crazy lows and then crazy highs. When they won, some of them were taking their shirts off. They looked like they were going to start running around butt naked. They were so excited. They were at like crazy lows, crazy highs. But if I wonder if I gave you the film and Chris is say he's a Patriots fan, and I say, hey Chris, you didn't watch the game, but here's the recording. I just want to tell you that they won. And Chris is like, dude, don't tell me. My bro, I don't know, but I promise you they won. And he believes me. Now when he's watching the game, he's not like getting low when they're down. He's getting excited. He's like, bro, this is about to be a crazy comeback. He's almost hoping for the fact that they get down a little bit more because he knows how the story ends. He knows that it ends in victory. So now how he's navigating what he's experienced, his responses emotionally are completely different. Why? Because he knows how it ends. And I just want to encourage you guys today on Good Friday that you should have such a high belief that you have no shot of a doubt that you're going to win, that you're convinced that you know how it ends. And so therefore, everything in that process, everything in the journey to get to your destination, start to look at it as good. You get, 7 no sells in a row, good. You say, well, how is that good? Well, it's good because it allows you, just like the Patriots at halftime, to sit back, reflect, adjust, and now you can go attack the second half that much better. Maybe it has to happen. Maybe you have to get smoked every once in a while in order to build the kind of character perspective to go out there and achieve the success that you want to achieve. Maybe it's necessary. Maybe there's no way around it. And so if it has to happen, let's have it happen now, right? And so with that said, guys, I want to jump into the think about it objection. I believe if you're like I am getting started, this was the objection. When you got it, you kind of felt like you're getting pushed back against the wall and you're like, dude, it was all going good. And then they had to say they wanted to think about it. And it was kind of the dreaded objection for most salespeople. And just to be clear, the think about it objection, it packages itself multiple different ways. It could be, I want to pray about it. I want to think about it. I want to talk it over with my kids. I want to talk it over with my financial advisor. I want to kind of chew on it. I want whatever it is. I want to get past my first month in bills with my new mortgage. All those things are just, I want to think about it, right? And so when you first understand that there's not a bunch of different objections, it's all the same objection, just kind of packaged maybe slightly different from the client. So this objection here, when I got better at handling it, all of a sudden my close ratio went up drastically. My profitability went up drastically. And so this is an objection that you really want to study the scripts and know the word tracks and know what to say, why to say it, when to say it. So we're going to unpack all things about this, and we're going to go into some great depth this morning on it. And so the first thing you got to do is understand to think about an objection. Oftentimes it's not an objection, it's just a complaint. Or it's just a knee-jerk reaction. I'll give you an example. Nowadays, people, they just feel like when they're getting ready to make a buying decision, they just need to think about it, right? They've already conditioned themselves. That's kind of the response. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say that Travis is at Walmart and he's shopping for toilet paper and he's on the toilet paper aisle, right? Nobody's confused that Travis isn't window shopping toilet paper. He's just not like checking out if Charmin's come up with a new kind of blend, like I wonder if they've come up with any kind of new structure to the patterns or what. He's not looking at that. But if I go up to Travis on the toilet paper aisle and I say, Travis, hey man, are you buying toilet paper today? His knee-jerk reaction would probably be, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. It's like, no, fool, you ain't thinking about it, dog. You didn't go to the toilet paper aisle just to look at toilet paper, bro. You went there to go pick some up. But when I say that, I'm trying to let you guys know, like, if you ask the question in a certain way, you're going to evoke the think about it. If you ask the client, hey, so are you okay with getting started with this right now? Or do you want to now get into the application process? Do you have the time now to get this thing going? All those things, the client could have been crying. I remember having an agent that reached out and he's like, dude, man, I've had like my last 3 clients literally cry in the home. He's like, there was so much emotion. I did such a good job bringing out the why and going into depth with it. But at the end, they wanted to think about it and I didn't close it. And I was like, bro, what are you saying at the end? He's like, I just asked him like, hey, do you guys, want to start the application process now? I was like, well, bro, that's it. That one sentence just ruined the whole thing. They wanted to buy, but you messed it up because you asked, did you want to start the application? So you got to be assumptive. Assumptiveness is the greatest hedge against getting the think about it objection, right? Like I'm just assuming Travis wants to buy toilet paper if he's on the toilet paper aisle. So when I go up there, I say, hey, do you want me to help you, get that down? Would you like me to grab that for you? I'm very assumptive, right? Would you like me to take your car? So it's the same thing here. They sent in a form. So in my mind, I'm always kind of giving myself these analogies and parallels to tie into so I can start ensuring I'm seeing things in the right viewpoint. And so that's how you got to look at it. This person is already bought the protection. All you're doing is trying to figure out, is it Charmin or is it whatever other brand is out there, right? Is it Kirkland or whatever? That's all you're trying to figure out. They've already made the buying decision. They're already at the aisle. They've already sent in the form. They've already picked up the phone. They've already raised their hand and said, I want to buy life insurance. You've already gone through the financial inventory. You've gone through the process. You've done all this. They want to buy. So be assumptive and not just say assumptive things. Say it with an assumptive like posture and tonality. Like, great. Travis, go and grab your driver's license and we're going to go through some questions to see if we get you qualified, okay? Very assumptive. So now once you've done that, that's going to hedge against a lot of the think about it. And obviously not to get into the weeds because I want to really give you exactly what to say once you've already got it. But I feel like I would do a disservice if I didn't first tell you that the best way to ensure that you get it less, because that's the first goal. How can I get to think about it less? And then how do I handle it when I still do get it? How do you get it less is increase value and minimize risk. When value exceeds price, people buy. And when risk is basically not an issue and it's not even seems to be there, people move. And so how do you increase more value? That would be better questions through the financial inventory, letting silence kind of do its work when you're talking about Bob passing away and what it looks like for Mary, making sure you're killing them off on paper and tying that all in. And then also going through the product and talking about why you're using this carrier, how long the carrier, how long Foresters has been in business, going through their fraternal benefits, talking about the plan. You got to have logic and emotion meeting each other to ensure the think about it is reduced. Because when people are not emotional enough, there's no urgency. And if it's not logical enough, it won't make sense. You need both of those things to be able to ensure yourself or set yourself up to negate the think about it. All right. So now you kind of got some feedback. That's what it looks like to reduce it. Now you've got it. Okay. So the first thing I do, if I get it right off the bat, Evan says, hey, man, dude, we just got to think about it. I got to talk, we'll sit back. We got to go through it. I say, perfect, Evan. Absolutely, man. Now, while you're thinking about it, which one of these options do you think would make the most sense? Would it be the one that's 20,000, that's $100 a month that would make sure your final expenses are paid for and a little bit of income replacement, or would it be the one that's just final expenses at 10,000? Which one do you think would make the most sense while you're thinking about it? And then he'll say, I don't know, I probably that one. Okay, great. What we'll do is we'll see if we get you qualified there. Go ahead and grab your driver's license. And that's how I handle it. And so you give it no merit. The best way I could liken it to, it would be like, for you guys that have kids and you got a son, I mean, daughters, I guess, might do it too, but my son, it's like, hey, dude, you gotta go take a shower. He's like, I'm not taking a shower. Great, bro, go grab your towel. Like, I don't give it any merit. I don't start negotiating why he needs to take a shower, why cleanliness is important. I don't do any of that. I just give it no merit. That's cute. Go grab your towel, right? I don't take a shower. That's great. Yeah, you should never not take a shower. You should see if you can grow some bacteria underneath your armpit. Like, that's a good approach, and then we'll see what that develops. It'll be a science project. Go grab a towel full. So it's the same kind of thing with a client that just says they want to think about it. I don't give it any merit. I don't treat it as an objection. I treat it as just like a complaint. The person just, maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction. They don't really need to think about it. And so it's, Evan, absolutely, dude, 100%. Now, while you're thinking about it, which one of these do you think would make the most sense? Well, probably that one. Great. We'll see if we get you qualified there. We could always adjust it up or adjust it down if you actually are able to get qualified. Go ahead and grab your driver's license real quick. Yeah, that's how I handle this. So the first step is giving it no merit. Okay. The next one is this. Evan says, I know, but really, really, we just got to pray about it. We got to get back to you. We got to chew on it, man. Dude, you're our guy, man. If we ever get this, dude, you are our guy, man. We like you. We just got to talk about it. We're going to tell our friends about you, but we need to think about it. I say, perfect. Absolutely. Now, Evan, do you think you would need, and I agree 100%, Evan, most families, they absolutely do think about it. And I suggest that. Do you think you would need like 2 to 3 days, or do you think you would need 2 to 3 weeks? And you're going to say, well, maybe role play, Evan, if you want to open it up. Do you think you need 2 to 3 days, or you need 2 to 3 weeks?
Probably 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay, now most people say 2 to 3 days, just so you know.
Okay.
But even if you said 2 to 3, my response would be the same. 95% will say 2 to 3 days. They'll be like, oh, I don't know. We just got to talk it overnight, maybe tomorrow. So I'd say, okay, perfect. Absolutely, Evan. Now, because this has to still get qualified and they give us a 30-day window, what we'll go ahead and do is this. We're going to see if we get you qualified because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't know yet that if you're going to qualify for it or not. If they do qualify, we can still go up or still go down. And because you need just a couple days, you'll be at least going through and think about it from a position of strength while being covered, which is what's most important to most families. And so go ahead and grab your driver's license. We'll see if we get you qualified, okay?
Yes, sir, sounds good.
Now, you might say, well, again, and let me just tell you guys this. When I would leave a phone conversation, or even if it's face to face, I would never leave on good terms with the client. It wouldn't, when I would call an agent and they'd say, man, it went great today. I had a great presentation. They really, I was like, did you help the family? Well, no, but man, great rapport. Gonna call them back. And it's like, bro, dude, it didn't go good. Your job is not to connect with the client and become a friend. Your job is to do your job. You're the professional with the license that's been set in place to help this family with protecting their family. That's what you're called to do. You messed up. So I would never leave on good terms. And by the way, most of the time, agents will try to leave on good terms because they're left with some kind of sliver of hope that they didn't really lose it. So it wasn't technically a no-sell because the door's somewhat open. And let me just tell you, the door is not open. After doing this for 19 years, I don't know if I could count on my hand how many people have called me back after they said they wanted to go through and think about it. And I'm talking like 20, 30 families. Like, it just doesn't happen. So what does that position me to do? It's to make sure I go all in and I do whatever I can to get them to make the decision right now. And so I would never leave on good terms, meaning that if Evan, and we'll keep going through this, if Evan gives me to think about it for the fourth time, and the fifth time, and the sixth time, I'm not going to stop going back and rebuttaling it until Evan says, hey, dude, you got to leave, right? You got to go. Or on the phone, they might just hang up. And then I'm going to call back and be like, hey, dude, call dropped. I apologize. Hey, Evan, real quick, listen, man, I'd rather not be calling you. I'd rather be doing a ton of other things. They've actually positioned me just because we're so behind with responses and requests that families are looking for protection to kind of step in. And dude, I really don't care what you do or don't do. It makes no difference to me. If I pass away, my family's protected. But I'm really good at my job because I really care about families. And I know how important this is for you, which is why I'm actually giving you a call in the first place. And then I go right back into the close. So I'd even do that if they hung up. And then if they hang up again or whatever, then it's maybe considered, okay, I've done everything I could. But I'm not leaving on good terms. I'm not leaving on this whole like I'm gonna go to your barbecue tomorrow and we'll just chop it up later. It just doesn't work. And by the way, that puts you in the wrong psyche for the next series of families to call because now you're chasing, dude. Like that either they're probably not gonna call back. And so now you're calling with the lower level perspective and identity of who you are. Now you're kind of like the chaser. You're not the top level doctor. They're the patient. Now you're kind of dropping down where the patient's telling you what to do. They're telling you how to prescribe. They're telling you when they want to take it. Like that ain't going to build your confidence. And confidence is probably the number one quality that you can have to become a top producer is confident. People want to be led, guided, and directed by a confident person, whatever that is. If I'm going to the doctor's office, I want to be led, guided, and directed by a confident person, right? If I'm going to anywhere, if I'm going to go buy a car, I want to be led by a confident person that when he says something, I believe that he believes what he's saying. I might not even need to believe that what he's saying is true, but as long as I believe he believes what he's saying, that's attractive. So you got to be confident, right? And so, when you get off the phone and they hang up, you can leave with confidence like, yeah, man, I did my best to get that person's mind right. But like, dude, they must just, had an off day or, kind of be a little sideways with their family. I don't know, but let me just call the next one. But my psyche's not dropped. I don't think I'm going to be calling back. I'm not going to be chasing. Bro, you lost out. It's for your benefit, not mine, to get this plan in place. That's got to be the perspective and the posture that you have as you call these families. All right. So we did it again, right? You said we've done it now twice. First is no merit. The second one is how many days do you need? 2 to 3 days or 2 to 3 weeks? And now let's just say you give it again. All right. So Evan, give me to think about it again. I go through the 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm saying, so go ahead and grab your driver's license, Evan.
Paul, it sounds really good, man. I just really need a few more days to a week to think about it, man.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I definitely agree. And let me ask you this. Do you mind if we kind of go through some of the things that you'll probably be thinking about over those 2 to 3 days?
Yeah, just making sure it really fits in the budget and making sure it actually covers all the needs for the family.
Yeah, okay. Well, so my question, Evan, is do you mind if we kind of go through probably some of the things that most clients think about in
Sure.
those 2 to 3 days? So usually most clients, what they're thinking about those 2 to 3 days is one, is this something that's really important for my family? And do I understand it? Is this something that's important and do I understand it? And Evan, let me ask you, is this something that you believe is important for your family and do you understand the product?
Absolutely. I just like
Okay. And
dude,
the second thing, Evan, is they want to make sure that this is something that fits their budget. Like that, hey, at the end of the day, this is affordable, and I no matter what comes my way, I can sustain this. So when I pass away, it's going to be there for my family. And Evan, let me ask you, is like, where we're at right now with this plan, does this fit the budget for you?
it seems to, yeah. Just want to double check.
Okay, perfect. And the third thing, Evan, is do you trust me? Do you like and trust me to be the person that's going to be there for your family and kind of help you through this process? And when something happens, we'll kind of help make sure that claim's taken care of for your wife and kids. And so, Evan, let me ask you, like, do you kind of look to me as somebody that you like and trust to help you with this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Evan, it sounds like, all three of those things that most people will think about, you kind of have the answer to. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is see if we get you qualified. We could always increase it or decrease it or adjust it over that 30-day window, but go ahead and grab your driver's license and we'll see if we get you qualified. Okay?
Sounds good.
So that's the third time. All right. So we've got no merit. You don't give them any merit. You just go back to, closing it. The second time is the 2 to 3 days and trying to close it. The third one is let's talk about the three things that you're probably going to be going through and thinking about, once you get to that place. All right. All right. The next one I would do is this. So let's just give me to think about it again, Evan, and go ahead and hit it. So go ahead and grab your driver's license, Evan.
Hey, Paul, I just need a few more days, man.
Well, Evan, man, can I just be really transparent and honest with you?
Absolutely.
Would that be okay? Listen, man, like what you guys do or don't do, I just want to be transparent. It doesn't ultimately make a difference to me. I'm not a captive sales rep. I'm a field underwriter, and now I really do care about what I do, and I'm good at what I do because I care about families. And what I know to be true is this. This sounds like something that's very important for you and your family. And that ultimately, I can't convince you, Evan, that you're going to enjoy making any kind of premium payment for the peace of mind and the protection. I can't convince you of that. And the truth is, Evan, I don't really need to convince you of that. But you can't convince me that man, your wife and the kids are not the most important thing to you. Listening to how you talked about them going through the situation, me understanding what the situation looks like through the questions I've asked you, and just knowing the reason why I'm giving you a call in the first place is simply that. I think you would agree that this is one of those things where, although you might not enjoy it, it's something that is kind of a non-negotiable and one of those things that you just have to have. And so I'm sure you would agree that this is one of those situations. And so, man, go ahead and grab your driver's license. Let's just see if we get you qualified and get this knocked out for your family, okay?
Sounds good.
So that would be the next one, right? Now you could use these all in different sequence. You might just be like, I like that one, well, then use that one. My point is you want to have a lot to go back to because like I do not, and I'm telling you guys, some of my biggest premiums I've written, and ironically enough, some of the families that I've gone back to and written annuities on and everything else, it's come from me going 4 or 5 times back and forth with that client, right? Now, I'm going to go through this really quick, and I know we got to wrap up here shortly. But another way you could do is you could say, Evan, and if you got them on Zoom or you want to show them, or you could walk them through this, you could say, man, Evan, I definitely understand thinking about it. Let me just kind of really quickly draw out a picture that I think is helpful that most families can identify with. Evan, when you look at the insurances that you have, right? You have a car, right? If they can see you, I would draw out a car, right? Or you could just, if they're not, you're talking them through it. You have a car, and then you got a home. You got insurance to protect your home. You got insurance to protect your car. You got a protection you got for your home, and then you've got your family. And then I would draw out like their wife, the 2 kids. I'd say, Evan, right now, when you could rank these from 1 to 3, which one would be the least important?
Probably the car.
Okay. What would be the second most important?
Probably the home.
Okay. And then so your family would be the most important. Would it be even close to how important they are compared to the other two?
Not at all.
Yeah. And so I think you would agree, man, looking at what you actually have in place right now is you have protection on the second and third most important thing, but not yet the thing that's most important for you. And so I think you would agree that it makes sense to make sure that they're protected. And just like auto insurance, you wouldn't cancel your auto insurance while you're shopping around and thinking about which one you should go to or get. In fact, you can't do that because you don't want to have lapse in protection while you're doing that. I think you'd agree it makes even more sense to make sure you're shopping from a position of strength or just thinking about it from a position of strength and making sure that your family, which is most important, they're actually protected. Does that make sense to you, Evan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, grab your driver's license. We'll see if we get you qualified. So we go back through that. All right. Now, last thing is this, and I'm going to try to hammer through this really quick. So another think about it, which is kind of different, but it's still a think about it, is I want to talk to my kids or I want to talk to my financial advisor, right? So that's one that you might get. So the way I overcome that is this. I'd say, Evan, absolutely, man. In fact, I really suggest that. And even myself, my mom and me, we have that same kind of relationship where anytime that she's doing something, she likes to kind of run it by me and let me know what's taking place. So 100%, I definitely agree with that. Evan, let me ask you this. When you talk it over with your son, if he were to say no about the protection, because I know most kids, they don't want to think about their mom or dad dying. The most common thing. They just, no, don't even worry about it, mom or dad. I'll handle it. They just don't want to think about it. And Evan, I know for me, when I call a family, a son or a daughter, after their dad has passed, and I let them know what plans in place, and I get them that check in their hand, it's almost like the last love letter. The same son that said, no, I don't want you to worry about it. And then the dad says, well, regardless of what they think, I lived with dignity. I'm not going to die without it. I'm going to get this in place. You wouldn't believe the amount of just like love that is kind of expressed through that. But let me ask you, Evan, if they were to say no, would you still get the plan in place and say, I just wanted to let you know, but either way, it's my decision. I want to make sure you're protected, or would you not get it if they said no?
I'd probably still get it.
Okay, perfect. Well, Evan, I mean, it sounds like you just want to kind of let them know what's taking place, but either way, you're still going to get a plan in place for your family. And so go ahead and grab your driver's license. We'll see what you qualified, okay?
Sounds good.
That's simple. Now, if they say, well, I'd probably not do it. I probably wouldn't do it. Okay, well, Evan, if they were to say no, do you think they'd be saying no to the budget? It would just not be affordable for you? Or do you think they'd be saying no, it's just not important. Don't even worry about it when you pass. Well, we don't care about a burden. Would it
I
be
think
more budget or more important?
I don't think they would want me to spend the money. My son makes pretty good money, and he doesn't want me to overextend myself financially.
Understand 100%. Well, let's do this then, man. Let's just go to, we'll look at a little bit lower of a plan to make sure that it fits that budget. So if we drop it from, you know, $20,000 to 15,000, it goes from 100 to 72 month. That would still cover the final expenses and maybe leave a little bit extra to cover some income replacement. Now, we can't make a decision today because we don't know if it's going to qualify. But Evan, if it were to qualify, do you think that would make more sense for your son as far as fitting the budget, or do you want to look at it a little bit lower?
I think that'd probably make sense.
Okay, great, man. We'll see if we get you qualified there. Go ahead and grab a driver's license. Now, you can say, why does that work? Well, it works because, dude, when he says his son says it wouldn't be affordable, he doesn't know what he says son's going to say yet. So it's really just him using it as a smokescreen, and then he's the one that doesn't think it's affordable, but he just doesn't want to tell me that. And so that's why you handle it that way. Now, if he says it wouldn't be important, I say, okay, got it, Evan. And as far as, the plan goes for your son, not thinking it's important, is that just because when you pass away, he's wanting to use his savings account, pull resources, doesn't think that this is something that he wants you to pay for? Like, what does that look like when you say you don't think he would think it's important?
I think he just doesn't want me to spend the money on it because he makes good money and he said he would take care of the home. But obviously, I don't want to make him have to do that.
Okay, got it. Well, most families, what they tell me, Evan, is that, they just want to let their kids know about it. But they're going to do it regardless, just because I had a client the other day said, Paul, I've lived with dignity my whole life. I'm not going to die without it. And I'm not going to leave a burden to my kids. And I had another client that said, my son has hundreds of thousands of dollars and he's done really well, but it's not for me to take advantage of that. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. It's not his responsibility. And so is that kind of like you as well? Regardless, you just want to make sure this is taken care of for him?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I agree, man. We'll go ahead and grab your driver's license. We'll see if we get you qualified. Okay. So same kind of thing. Financial advisor, it would work the same way, right? If they say, I want to talk to a financial advisor, say, dude, 100%, Evan. Absolutely. Definitely suggest that. And then let me ask you this. And then you just kind of go through the same thing. When you talk to your financial advisor, if you were to say, no, I just don't think you should get the life insurance, although he's more advising on the living accumulation of your assets, what would you do? Would you say, I just want to let him know about it because he knows about all the things coming in and out? I'd still get it? Or would you just say, all right, if he doesn't think I should get it for my family, I'm not going to get it? So it'd be the same exact way, right? Because it's just a smokescreen. It's just a smokescreen is all it is. Dude, they're not talking to the financial advisor about getting a final expense plan. And then they keep going and pushing on that. I'd say, Evan, listen, man, the reality is this: any financial advisor that's not one at H&R Block, that actually is good at what they do, it sounds like you've got a good one. They're not going to want to look at anything that's hypothetical. They're going to want to see a policy and how it's actually structured. And that's why they give a free look period of 30 days to see if, so you could adjust it up or down. And so it sounds like if you want to talk about it with him and you want to get his feedback, you want to do it regardless, but he still needs to be in the equation. That's what he's going to look at. Does that make sense? And so go and grab your driver's license. We'll see if you get you qualified so that way you have something to kind of go through with him. Okay. And you just go right back to it. So it's usually always a smoke screen. It's just another form of to think about it. But anyways, guys, I hope this helped. I really wanted to give some great depth to the think about it objection. The truth is this: most agents, they give in too soon. If you just stay in it, man, and you kind of got to get, almost excited about making people feel uncomfortable. I know it sounds kind of weird, but growth comes at the end of your comfort zone. And so getting the client to feel uncomfortable enough to make the decision to get their plan in place for their family, that's what your job is to do, right? Like my job is to make my kids feel uncomfortable in certain situations so they can have a growing moment. And that's leadership. And you're a leader on this phone. You're licensed, they're not. They sent in a request for help. You're there to serve and help them. And so really kind of understanding that and getting these word tracks down and being able to make sure that you stay on the phone long enough, I promise you, some of the sales that you're missing, you're just hanging up to it. You overcome it, but they give it to you again, and then you give in. Or you overcome it, and then you overcome it again, and then you give in. Guys, these are 5 or 6 different ways to keep on the phone. I promise you, you'll be very shocked and surprised on how if you just stay on the phone and you continue to go back to them, a lot of the clients, they just want to know, do you really care? Are you going to actually stand up and continue to push me on how important this is? As weird as it sounds, a lot of times that's where people are at. And at the 3rd, 4th time, they're like, man, this guy really just cares because you're handling it in this way. When you're handling it this way, it's not pressure, it's passion. Bro, I just care a lot about you, man. This isn't about me, this is about you. And so, guys, I hope this helps. Let's make it a big, big day, a big weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.